Hey y'all, hope all is well. So I wanted to talk about today a few different things. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna title this video because there's so many different things involved in this. So many different ways that I could take this. But I mainly want to focus on unfinished business, closing doors, and basically saving time, right? Or identifying a person's true intentions, okay? So, a lot of times we don't really know how to recognize, or we can't pinpoint people's true intentions or whatnot. We probably got too much going on, that we clearly look over the signs, or we want something so bad that we forget to use our head, right? So meaning, when I say that, sometimes what our head want, or what we think we want, don't agree with our heart, okay? Or vice versa. We just get confused sometimes. And when you're dealing with open doors, right? Doors that you haven't closed. When you're dealing with unfinished business, it's easy to get tripped up when you don't learn how to close out a season properly. It's very important that you learn how to close your seasons, and you close doors, and you seal them and you lock them. Because certain things, when it comes to the past, that you should never re-enter or never go back to. Certain timelines are dead, okay? And everything in them, everything in their door, everything attached to it is dead. And if you're not careful, if you reopen certain doors, they will feed off you. And soonly, you will be dead. Okay? To the point of no return. So what I mean like that is, when you have people to go back to things, or they don't catch on to certain people, certain things, they end up becoming bitter. And when you become bitter, then you stop using your heart. Your heart start to get cold, and you become dead, right? Because like I talked about in previous videos, that's the most important organ, the most important part of your body to use. But because we haven't learned to not be a fool for people and things, we end up getting tripped up. We end up getting played, and we end up stop using our heart because we didn't close the proper doors we needed to close. Now, it's really important to understand that when you done with a person, a relationship, that you be done with it. And not be trying to test back the waters. That you seriously be done with it. Because if you're not done with it, I promise you, that person or that thing will know. And you will be tested. Okay? So, for instance, I know somebody asked me, they was like about an old particular relationship And they was like, oh, so that person haven't tried to come back yet, haven't tried to get in. Because, you know, especially when you're a good person and you good to people or whatnot, people gonna try to find their way back, okay? Naturally. It's naturally for you to, because people ain't gonna forget good people too quick. And I was like, well, yeah, of course. And I was like, I said, but I'm not a fool. And they want to know what I meant by that. And I was like, well, that person don't want me. They just don't want me to be happy with anybody else. They don't want nobody else to have me. And that's what we have to learn to catch on to. Or learn how to discern certain spirits and pick up certain things in people. Certain demonic entities. Because I promise you, sometimes, especially when you with somebody and you didn't close out a cycle, or you still sweet on the person, and that's how you will end up allowing your blessings to be delayed, because you didn't close out that cycle when you should have. There's no way that you should have gotten to a certain point, right? Because if a person gonna straighten up, it shouldn't take it to a certain point. Because the person that truly loves you, they ain't gonna let it get to a certain point, or they ain't gonna let something go for too long. Because at the end of the day, everybody should understand that it's time attached to everything, right? Portals, doors, certain things close, and they will never open again. And a good example of that is when you finally get over a person, you will never go back. That's a door closed. That's a portal closed that will never open again. So meaning when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. When I have totally got over something and I made it up in my mind, you can't open up that door even if you tried to burn it down, okay? It's a wrap. Because certain things, certain timelines are sealed. And that's why it's important, if you so-called love a person, right? Or if a person trying to really prove that they changed or they want to make something work with you, then they understand it. They understand time is of the essence. So they ain't going to play around with that thing when they truly love you. So going back to what I mean by, it should never get to a certain point or time when a person decides they want to come back. You shouldn't be in a whole nother life, in a whole nother house, have a whole nother other things going, and this person decide. Okay? That's an indicator right there that that person really ain't coming for you. They really coming to enjoy those benefits that they see that you're about to get. Because that's why you can get with a person. You can get with a person, then your exes start to appear. Everybody starting to come back. Everybody started to jump in your DM. Wasn't nobody thinking about you when you was booed up. But when you were single, but the minute you get booed up, the minute you get with somebody, here come the enemies. And what the enemy come? To steal, kill, and destroy. And if you're not smart, you'll fall for the okie doke. Or you'll get prideful thinking that you got options. Or thinking that people want you, everybody wants you, when in reality they don't want you. It's just a test to see if you can deal with this next level, or if you done with what you done with, or is that door still open? And that's how you get trapped up. Okay? And you end up making the wrong decisions or going back. And going back is basically the same as going backwards. So you end up in this old timeline that ain't gonna work. But you might end up getting yourself caught up into this cycle and you end up getting locked in because you shouldn't have never went back. It's like a time capsule almost like the Matrix. If you ain't careful with playing with certain things, you might get stuck. And you might not be able to free yourself when you go back to stuff once you have been freed from it. Don't be a fool in this season, I'm telling you. And I'm not going to say it too many times. People sense when you're about to get your blessing. You get your biggest test. Oh, excuse me. Your biggest test come. Okay. The devil ain't gonna tempt you with nothing that with simple stuff or things you won't want. And sometimes it be something of the past that you thought you missed out on. You thought was worth something, or you still want. And they test you with that thing, and it ain't no good. Cause guess what? We done moved into a new season where old keys ain't gonna fit these new locks. Okay. So that old thing, that old cycle, that old door, whatever doors you haven't closed, whatever that no longer serve you, you are not going to be able to enter certain things with them. Because that's one thing God don't play about. What he has deemed cursed is cursed. And it ain't your place to try to bless something that is cursed. Okay? I forgot the particular story where a prophet got in trouble with it. Or whatnot. Certain ground, certain soil. Hey, you better stay away from, or you end up cursing yourself. Okay? Putting yourself in another long cycle when you could have simply saved time had you closed the doors you need to close properly. So going back to that friend that asked me what she asked me, and like I let her know at the end of the day, hey, when I'm done with something, I'm done with it. And like I said, we all be tempted by certain things, but certain things we shouldn't be a fool all our life on now. I'm just saying. They shouldn't have to get you to this certain point or break you all the way down now. Don't let them kill you now. They done hurt you before. Now you gonna let them kill you. You know, so we gotta learn how to use our head. And not just our heart. You know, because like I said, you know, people sense certain things and certain people only come back because they want to benefit from you. They weren't expecting for you to move too fast to find somebody to move on or to be happy or to be where you are. And the only reason why you are where you are is because you was able to let that thing go. So God started blessing you, right? So before God just really put the finale on the thing, the icing on the cake, before the season finale came, and he really dropped that big blessing on you, he knew that a door wasn't closed properly. So he gonna test that thing to see, are you gonna still be a fool? Are you gonna open back up Pandora's box? So when you fail that test, then now you got to risk getting stuck, right? Because like I said, it's a prison. When you get free from something, don't go back to it. Because just as hard as it was to get free from it, it's going to be hard again. And it might take you another however long it took you to finally get your head together to be done with it in the first place when you saw them for who they are. But some kind of magically way you done got some witchcraft. Somebody didn't bewitch you, and you didn't thought that something was going to be better than it was before. So now you back into a town council. You back under somebody's spell, right? Because 9 out of 10, you probably dealing with a witch or a warlock, and you don't know. And of course you don't know because you ain't studied nothing. So you don't even know what you're dealing with here for the time you playing with stuff that you can't handle. And you wonder why you a fool for a person. Because you don't understand that spiritual laws still hold the same as natural laws. You go out here and do something in these streets, whether you know it or not, it still has effect. It still will. You still can be prosecuted. You go out here and carry the gun that you have, even though you licensed or not. You carry a gun into a store that the law that they said no guns in, no firearms in. You carry it in there, you can get prosecuted, whether you know it or not. So the things hold the same when it comes to spiritual laws. And when you don't understand spiritual laws, then it's easier for you to get tripped up, or it's easier for a witch to entertain you or a warlock to entertain you, and you get stuck into cycles and you end up dying in that mental prison. Okay? So, that's all I want to say. Y'all be good.